Good morning. Welcome to today's session. So these are the objectives of today's session. We are going to discuss about the CNC part programming and methods of part programming and basics of CNC program procedure. Part program, it is a sequence of instructions which describe the work which has to be done on a part in the form required by a computer under the control of a numerical control computer program. And for a numerically controlled machine, to accomplish the required machining operations, the necessary data have to be entered into the system. And the MCU or computer system can then convert the data into commands that can be issued to the appropriate motors for the necessary functions to be executed. The series of data that is fed into the MCU to generate the required machine tool commands is referred to as a part program. The process of writing an NC part program is called NC part programming. And the person responsible for writing a part program is called NC part programmer. The part programming function is clearly a critical function if NC machines are to be used effectively in a production environment. The NC programmer needs to have intimate knowledge of a wide range of manufacturing processes and possess skill as a machine operator. In writing the part program, the programmer generally starts with an engineering drawing of the part to be made. This must be interpreted to determine the individual operations that should be performed on the workpiece to produce the final component according to the design specifications. It is the basis used to determine the order in which the operations should be carried out. Establish the cutting conditions to be used during each machining operation. Determine associated non-machining operation. Example, tool changing, machine setup, coolant use, etc. And select the appropriate jigs and fixtures to be used to hold the workpiece while machining is being done. These functions are what we generally associate with the process planning. So in fact, the NC programmer is frequently responsible for carrying out these process planning tasks for parts made on NC machines. Once all this information has been determined, it must be coded in a form that can be programmed into the MCU that controls the actual machine operation. That is, the part program itself must be written. And programming is where all the machining data are compiled and where the data are translated into a language which can be understood by the control system of the machine tool. And the machining data is as follows: machining sequence classification of process, tool startup point, cutting depth, tool path, etc. And cutting conditions like spindle speed, feed rate, coolant, etc. And the selection of the cutting tool. And while preparing the part program, need to perform the following steps like determine the startup procedure, which includes the extraction of dimensional data from part drawings, and data recording surface quality requirements on the machine component. Select the tool and determine the tool offset. Return the cutting tool to the reference point after completion of work. End the program by stopping the spindle and coolant. So methods of part programming, manual part programming and computer aided part programming. So manual part programming, in this manuscripts are typed with a device known as flexorator, which is also used to type the program instructions. And after the program is typed, the puncture tape is prepared on the flexorator. Complex shaped components require tedious calculations. This type of programming is carried out for simple machining parts produced on point-to-point machine tool. And to create a part program manually, need the following information. First one, knowledge about various manufacturing processes and machines, and a sequence of operations to be performed for a given component. Knowledge of the selection of cutting parameters, etc. So next one, computer-aided part programming. Complex shaped component requires calculations to produce the component are done by the programming software contained in the computer. The programmer communicates with this system through the system language, which is based on words. There are various programming languages developed in the recent time, such as automatically programmer tools, AutoSpot, ADAPT, Compact2, Split. These are used for writing a computer program which has English-like statements. In this, the programmer has to do only the following things. First one, define the work part geometry and defining the repetition of work, specifying the operation sequence. So this is about computer-aided part programming. To program the NC processing equipment, it is necessary to establish a standard access system by which the relative positions of the tool with respect to the work can be specified. Coordinate system in NC. So part program is a series of coded instructions for effecting the various machine functions necessary to make a specific part on a particular machine tool. Among the most important of these functions is maintaining the correct tool workpiece positional relationship during the machining. And this is achieved by establishing a coordinate system and then defining tool workpiece motion in terms of the coordinate system. The standard coordinate system used is right-handed Cartesian coordinate system, and the axes are designated with the X, Y, and Z. So, for example, take inside drill press as an example. The drill spindle is in a fixed horizontal position and the table is moved relative to the spindle. However, to make things easier for the part programmer, the viewpoint is adopted that the workpiece is stationary while the tool is moved relative to it. Accordingly, the numerical control coordinate system is defined with respect to the machine tool table. Two axes X and Y are defined in the plane of the table, and the Z axis is perpendicular to this plane, and movement in the Z direction is controlled by the vertical motion of the spindle. The positive and negative directions of motion of tool relative to table along this axis are shown in this figure. NCL presses are classified as either 2-axis or 3-axis machines depending on whether or not they have the capability to control the Z-axis. A numerical control milling machine and similar machine tools like boring mill, for example, use an axis system similar to that of the drill press. However, in addition to the 3 linear axes, these machines may possess the capacity to control one or more rotational axes. And the 3 rotational axes defined in NCR A, B and C axis. These axes are used to specify the angles about X, Y and Z axis respectively. So observe this picture. These are the rotational axes A, B and C. To distinguish positive from negative angular motions, the right hand rule can be used. And for turning operations, 2 axes are normally all that are required to command the movement of the tool relative to the rotating workpiece. Let me show you that picture. The Z-axis is the axis of rotation of the work part, and X-axis defines the radial location of the cutting tool. So, in relating the various coordinate axes and motions to a particular machine, the following general principles are followed. Z-axis, this is the most important axis for the machining and it is always aligned with the spindle that imparts cutting power. The spindle might rotate the workpiece as in a lathe, or it might rotate a tool as in a milling machine. If no such spindle exists on a specific machine, the Z-axis is perpendicular to the work holding surface. For reasons that will come evident later, positive motion in Z tends to increase the separation between the workpiece and the tool. So let me explain about the Z-axis once again. This is the most important axis for machining and it is always aligned with the spindle that imparts cutting power. The spindle might rotate the workpiece as in a lathe, or it might rotate a tool as in a milling machine. If no such spindle exists on a specific machine, the Z-axis is perpendicular to the work holding surface. For reasons that will come evident later, positive motion in Z tends to increase the separation between the workpiece and the tool. X-axis, it is the principal axis of motion in which the moving element, tool or workpiece, is positioned. It is parallel to the work holding surface and is arranged to be horizontal if possible. On machines with rotating workpieces, it is radial and parallel to the cross slide. On machines with rotating tools, if the Z-axis is horizontal, the positive X motion is to the right when looking from the spindle to the workpiece. If the Z-axis is vertical, the positive X motion is to the right when looking from the spindle to the column. On machines with non-rotating workpieces and non-rotating tools, The x-axis is parallel to and directed toward the principal cutting direction. So let me explain about the x-axis once again. It is the principal axis of motion in which the moving element, tool or workpiece is positioned. It is parallel to the work holding surface and is arranged to be horizontal if possible. On machines with rotating workpieces, it is radial and parallel to the cross line. On machines with a rotating tools, if the z-axis is horizontal, the positive x motion is to the right when looking from the spindle to the workpiece. If the z-axis is vertical, the positive x motion is to the right when looking from the spindle to the column. Y-axis, once the z and x-axis are established, the y-axis must be in such a direction as to complete a right-handed Cartesian coordinate system. So in this, so this is x direction, this is the y direction, and the z direction, and the three rotational axes A, B, and C. And some other are supplementary linear motions. On some machines, there are secondary linear motions parallel to the primary x, y, and z motions. Such supplementary motions are designated with u, v, and w respectively. Rotary motions. Motions A, B, and C are rotary motions about axis respectively parallel to the x, y, and z axis. A positive rotary motion is in a direction that would cause a right-handed screw to advance in the positive direction of the axis of rotation. Next one, spindle rotation. Counterclockwise spindle rotation is considered positive. It is a rotation that would cause a right-handed screw to recede from the workpiece. This explanation is about this diagram. So this is a turning operation. For this we need only two axes, x and z axis. So in NC part program includes among other things commands that move the tool to various locations relative to the workpiece. To be able to specify the required tool positions, some reference point is required. This reference point used within the program as the basis of defining the tool location and other geometry entities is referred to as the origin. The MCU keeps track of current tool location relative to the origin, and the tool itself is defined as a point for single tooth cutting tools such as those used in turning. The point defining the tool corresponds to the location of the cutting tip of the tool. For multiple teeth tools such as drills or milling cutters, the point defining the tool is the center of the cutter. And in a given program, the origin is usually a point determined by the programmer. Generally, the programmer assumes that at the beginning of the program, the tool is located at some specific point relative to the workpiece, which is designated as the origin. Generally, the programmer assumes that at the beginning of the program, the tool is located at some specific point related to the workpiece, which is designated as the origin. And in practice, during setup and before any program or motion, the machine operator has to move the tool to the position designated by the programmer as the origin. And then depress a special button on the control panel that zeroes the axis counters in the MCU. Thus, a zero location is set that serves as the origin for the programmer. And the purpose of the coordinate system is to provide a means of locating the tool in relation to the workpiece. Depending on the type of the NC machine, the part programmer may have several options for specifying the location. One of these options depend on whether the machine has a fixed zero or a floating zero. In the case of a fixed zero, the origin always located at the same position on the machine table. Usually the position is the southwest corner of the table. And the second and more common feature on modern NC machines allows the machine operator to set the zero point at any position on the machine table. This feature is called floating zero. The part programmer is the one who decides where the zero point should be located. The decision is based on part programming convenience. For example, the work part may be symmetrical and the zero point should be established at the center of the symmetry. And the location of the zero point is communicated to the machine operator. At the beginning of the job, the operator moves the tool under manual control to some target point on the table. The target point is some convenient place on the workpiece or table for the operator to position the tool. So this is about the floating zero and fixed zero. So coordinate systems. First one absolute coordinate system, second one incremental coordinate system or positioning system. In this mode, the desired target position of the tool for a particular move is given relative to the origin of the program. Because the MCU always keeps track of the current location of the tool, it is a simple matter for it to calculate the actual distance and direction of motion required to go from the current location to the target. This approach, however, is more demanding of the programmer who has to determine the absolute coordinates of all target points, which may involve many calculations. So this is absolute coordinate system. So this is the origin point. For example, this is a point A, which is located 5 and 4. So this is a point B, which is located at 11 and 12 from the origin. Let me explain about this once again. In this mode, the desired target position of the tool for a particular move is given related to the origin of the program. Because the MCU always keeps track of the current location of the tool, it is a simple matter for it to calculate the actual distance and direction of motion required to go from the current location to the target. Incremental coordinate system. Increment positioning. In this, the next target position for the tool is given related to the current tool position. In many cases, this is easier for the programmer. The task of calculating absolute tool position is left to the controller, which continues to keep track of the actual tool location at any instant. With this approach, however, it is critical for the programmer to ensure that the final tool position at the end of program is identical to the initial tool position. If this is not the case, errors can build up during the machining of successive parts using the same program. So let me explain about the incremental position once again. In this, the next target position for the tool is given related to the current tool position. For example, for point 5, 4, this is the origin, and for the next point 6, 8, this will act as the origin. So they say point 11, 12 is expressed in incremental coordinate system with the 6, 8. So 5 plus 6, 11, 4 plus 8, 12. So this is the absolute coordinate system and this is the incremental coordinate system. Structure of NC power program. NC program is made up of series of commands that are input into the MCU in a serial manner. The MCU interprets these commands and generates the necessary signals to each of the drive units of the machine to accomplish the required action. The NC program is required to have a particular structure that the controller can understand, and it must follow a specific syntax. Commands are input into the controller in units called blocks or statements. Each block is made up of one or more machine commands. In general, several commands are grouped together to accomplish a specific machine operation. Hence, the use of a block of information for each operation. Each command gives a specific element of control data, such as a dimension or a feed rate. Each command within a block is also called a word. The way in which the individual commands or words are arranged within the block is referred to as the block format. And there are 3 different block formats being used in industry, and those are fixed sequential format, tab sequential format, and word address format. So first one, word address format. This is a format that is used on virtually all modern controllers and will be explained in greater detail. With this type of format, each type of word is assigned an address that is identified by a letter code within the part programmer. Thus, the letter code specifies the type of word that follows, and then its associated numeric data is given. For example, tool number is represented with the code capital T. And for example, T01 would be interpreted as the tool number 1. And in theory, with this approach, the words in a given block can be entered in any sequence and the controller should be able to interpret them correctly. In practice, however, most controllers have restrictions on the order in which words are entered, and this is specified in each controller's manual. With the word address format, only the needed words for a given operation have to be included within the block. The command to which particular numerical data applies is identified by the preceding address code. Thus, it is easy to omit unneeded commands identified by the preceding address code. And word address format has the additional advantage of making it possible to have more than one command of the same type in a single block. So some of the commonly used word addresses are capital F, it represents feed rate command, G for preparatory functions, X will give x-axis data, y-axis data, Z it will give z-axis data, and also S, capital S will give spindle speed, capital T will give tool number, etc. Within the specification, a letter identifies a specific type of word, and a plus or minus symbol after the letter indicates that sign is significant for the associated numeric data. Generally, a positive sign is assumed if numeric data have no sign specified. If one numeral follows the letter, the data for that word are of integer form with up to the number of digits specified by the numeral. If the letter is followed by the two numerals, the data for that word are real numbers. The decimal point is not to be programmed explicitly. Its position is inferred by counting the number of digits in the actual data associated with the word, counting from the right. So in general, n-word can have up to 4 integer digits with no associated sign. Z-word can have up to 2 integer digits with no associated sign. X-word can have up to 7 real digits which may be positive or negative. F-word may have up to 4 real digits which may be of positive or negative. There are variations between the machines and cannot be assumed that a program written for one machine will run successfully on other machine. For example, some machines do not allow suppression of leading zeros. Other machines have the capability to suppress trailing zeros. The total number of digits in the word data also varies from machine to machine, as does the number of digits before or after a decimal point. So example, word address format, you can say sorry. N 00. So this is example word address format. It is clear from the example that the word address format is considerably easier to use than other formats, and that it also results in the short programs. So this is about the word address format. Next one, tab sequential format. This format is essentially the same as the fixed sequential format. The difference is that each word within a block, except for the first word, is preceded by a tab character. The main improvement over fixed sequential format is that the tab character for a specific word need not be followed by numeric data if the data are not required in that particular block, or if they are model data that have not changed from the previously given value. The tab character indicates the beginning of a new word but does not specify which type of word. Therefore, the sequence of words remains significant. Once again, spaces are inserted between words for ease of interpretation in this. These spaces would not be used in actual program. So this is like this. So this is about the tab sequential format. Let me explain it once again. This format is essentially same as the fixed sequential format, and the main difference is that each word within a block is preceded by a tab character. The main improvement over fixed sequential format is that the tab character for a specific word need not be followed by numeric data. If data are not required in that particular block, or if they are model data that have not changed from the previously given value. Next one, fixed sequential format. So this was the earliest block format used for NC machines, and it spawned the main numerical control because in this format only numbers are used. With this format, each block in the program consists of exactly the same number of words entered in a specified sequence, and each word consists of a fixed number of data characters, and the data characters are either numbers or signs to indicate whether the associated number is positive or negative. The data are interpreted according to where they are located within the block, and thus the data positions are significant. Characters cannot be omitted and no extra characters can be included because doing either would change the meaning of the data. Every word must be represented even if this requires using a series of 0 characters or repeating previously entered values. Clearly, this frequently results in giving unnecessary information and leads to very long programs. So this is about the fixed sequential format. So let me explain about address format once again. We are going to use this format in our programs. So this is a format that is used on virtually all modern controllers and will be explained in greater detail. With this type of format, each type of word is assigned an address that is identified by letter code within the part program. Thus, the letter code specifies the type of word that follows, and then its associated numeric data is given. So, for example, tool number is represented with the capital T. So, T01 means, the word T01, it interpreted as T representing tool number 1. Let me show you that. So, like this, T01, it represents the tool number 1. So in practice, most controllers have restrictions on the order in which words are entered, and this is specified in each controller's manual. With word address format, only the needed words for a given operation have to be included within the block. The command to which particular numeric data applies is identified by the preceding address code. So let me show you some commonly used word address formats. It's capital F, it represents feed rate command. It represents x-axis data, y-axis data, z-axis data. G, it is a preparatory function. M, miscellaneous commands. N represents the sequence number. And in general, N-word can have up to 4 integer digits with no associated sign. G-word can have up to 2 integer digits with no associated sign, so etc. Now let me show you one more address format. So this is the address format. So like this. So this is about the word address format. Summary, today I explained about part programming and the types of part programming, the CNC program procedure and the NC coordinate system. And the part program is a sequence of instructions which describes the work which has to be done on a part in the form required by computer under the control of a numerical control computer program. And we discussed about the types of part programming. Those are manual part programming and computer part programming. So manual part programming, the programmer first prepares the program manuscript in a standard format. The manuscripts are typed with a device known as Flexowriter, which is also used to type the program of instructions. And next we discussed about the computer part programming. And we discussed about the NC coordinate system. And in this, we discussed about the different axes like Z-axis. These are most important axis for machining, and it is always aligned with the spindle that imparts cutting power. And we discussed about the x-axis. It is the principal axis of motion in which the moving element, tool or workpiece is positioned. And we discussed about the y-axis and supplementary linear motions such as u, v and w, and rotary motions. So like motions a, v and c are rotary motions, both axes respectively parallel to the x, y and z axis. The positive rotary motion is in a direction that would cause the right-handed screw to advance in the positive direction of the axis of rotation. And we discussed about the floating zero versus fixed zero, and we discussed about the coordinate system like incremental coordinate system and absolute coordinate system. Thank you.